Hi, this is Ajay Anand and welcome to science classes from excelup.com. In this lesson, you will learn about cell, the fundamental unit of life. This chapter has been taken from Science of class 9th. You will learn about the variety in size and shape of cells. Then you will learn about structure of cell. You will learn about structure and functions of some important cell organelles. And at the end of the lesson, you will learn about cell division. What is a cell? A cell is called the structural unit of life. Let us see why it is called the structural unit of life. You must have seen a wall or a building. The wall or building, they are made up of bricks, and bricks are structural units of the wall or the building. In the same way, living beings, they are composed of cells. Cells are the smallest independent units from which living organisms are made. Say for example, this shows a slide of cell onion peel in which you can see numerous cells. This is the example of cells from scraping from the cheek. So these are the cells and these are the structural unit of life. Depending on the number of cells, organisms can be divided into two types. Number one is unicellular and number two is multicellular. Those organisms which are composed of a single cell, they are called unicellular living beings. For example, amoeba, paramecium, yeast. And the organisms which are composed of more than one cell, they are called multicellular organisms. Human beings, elephant, cockroach, mango tree, they are examples of multicellular organisms. Shape and size of cell. Cells come in variety of size and variety of shapes. So for example, a bacterium is a unicellular organism and the size of bacteria is in microns. It is very small. This is the smallest cell. On the other hand, eggs, like eggs of hen or pigeon or any other bird, they are the largest cells because you can see an egg without any aid, without a microscope or without a magnifying glass. The egg of an ostrich is the largest living cell known to us. That is around 17 meter across in size. Then size of cell depends on the function they serve. So most of the cells, they are small in size. Let us come to the shape. Shape also depends on a specific function served by a cell. So for example, amoeba and white blood cells. Amoeba cell is irregular in shape and same is for WBC. And both amoeba and white blood cells, they have to catch some foreign materials. Amoeba keeps out making pseudopodia so that it can catch food, and WBCs, they keep on changing shapes so that they can trap foreign objects. RBCs, they are disc shaped and concave in nature. RBC means red blood corpuscles, and because of the concave shape, the red blood cells, they can easily pass through even the narrowest blood capillaries. Smooth muscle cells, they are spindle shaped, which means they are pointed at ends and broad at the middle. Neurons, they have a special shape. Neuron has a star like head with a long tail. Okay, so this is all about shape and size of cells. let us move on to structure of cell. The main parts of a cell are plasma membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm, and you can easily see these parts through a compound microscope. Plasma membrane is a thin membrane which makes the boundary of the cell. It provides a boundary, it provides a container to whatever is inside the cell. Plasma membrane also facilitates exchange of materials, but plasma membrane is selectively permeable, which means plasma membrane allows only selected substances to pass through it. For example, maybe there can be a substance A which can pass through plasma membrane, then there can be another substance B which cannot pass through plasma membrane. Some materials are transported through plasma membrane by osmosis and some materials by diffusion. What is diffusion? The movement of molecules from high concentration to low concentration is called diffusion. So for example, when an incense stick is kept burning in a corner of a room, or a perfume is just spread in a corner of the room, the whole room fills with a fragrance in no time, and this happens because of diffusion of molecules which carry the fragrance. Okay, so diffusion is responsible for exchange of gases in most of the organisms. For example, this is a diagram of leaf, and carbon dioxide is coming out of leaves because of diffusion, and oxygen is going inside leaf because of diffusion. Osmosis is a type of diffusion. Diffusion is about movement of any molecule, any kind of molecule. In case of osmosis, what happens? Molecules of solvent move through a semi-permeable membrane. So when the movement is only about solvent molecules, then we call it osmosis. An example of osmosis can be numerous in your day-to-day life. Say for example, if you soak some seeds in water overnight or maybe for 4 or 5 hours, the seeds, they swell up and increase in size. This happens because due to osmosis, water enters the seeds and this results in swelling up of seeds. Now there are 3 important terminologies related to osmosis, and they are about concentration of solution. So they are called isotonic solution, hypotonic solution and hypertonic solution. When the concentration of water in the solution is same as concentration of water inside the cell or inside the seed, then the solution is called isotonic solution. When a cell is immersed in isotonic solution, there is no movement of water across the cell membrane, and as a result there is no change in size of cell. A solution in which concentration of water is more compared to concentration of water inside the cell is called hypotonic solution. In this case, since concentration of water is more outside, so water will enter the cells, and as a result the cell will swell up. There is an increase in size. It is important to remember that the molecules always move from region of high concentration to region of low concentration. Now hypertonic solution is a solution in which concentration of water is less than concentration of water in the cell. So what will happen in this case? Water will move out of cells, and this will result in cells shrinking in size, becoming smaller. Okay. So for example, when you put salt on salad, on cucumber or any say carrot, you chop the carrots and cucumber and you put salt, sprinkle salt over them, then water comes out of the slices, because what happens now, because of presence of salt, outside, the concentration of water inside the cell, it becomes more. So it is a case of hypertonic solution. Cell wall. Cell wall is the rigid covering outside the cell membrane. Cell wall is not present in animal cells. Cell wall is present in plants, fungi and bacteria. The cell wall in plants is composed of cellulose, and cell wall is a rigid structure, so it helps plants, fungi and bacteria to withstand very dilute media without bursting. Because what happens, once the cell is in dilute media, water will enter the cell and this will put huge pressure on the cell. So there is a chance of cell bursting. Now because of presence of cell wall, this bursting of cell is prevented. Even in case the cells are in concentrated media, what will happen? Water will come out of the cell, and as a result, the cell will shrink in size. So this phenomenon is called plasmolysis. And even in this case, in case of plasmolysis, the cell wall, it helps in preventing the cell from becoming dead because of lack of water or because of lack of osmotic pressure. The plasmolysis is the terminology used for plant cells, but when the same phenomenon happens in case of animal cell, this is called crenation. C-R-E-N-A-T-I-O-N. Now nucleus. In the slide of onion cell, peel or cheek cells, you will observe dot like structures in each cell. So these dots, they are nucleus. You can see detailed structure in electron microscope. So nucleus is surrounded by a double membrane, that is called nuclear membrane. Then there is a nucleolus inside the nucleus, and there is a dense network of thread like structures. These thread like structures, they are called chromosomes. DNA is present on chromosomes, and DNA, they are genes. They are responsible for transfer of genetic characters from one generation to another generation. Nucleus plays important role during cell division. Now nucleus is not present in all organisms. In certain organisms, nucleus is absent, which means nucleic genetic materials, they are not bound by membrane. So if nucleus is absent, then the organism is called a prokaryote. All the bacteria, they are prokaryotes. And if nucleus is present or membrane bound genetic material is present, then the organisms are called eukaryote. So organisms other than bacteria, all of them, they come under this category, eukaryotes. So fungi, plant, animals, all of them, they are eukaryotes. Cytoplasm. The fluid inside the cell is called cytoplasm. Inside the plasma membrane is called cytoplasm. Okay. And the cytoplasm, it contains various cell organelles. They are smaller parts of cell. They carry out important functions. So here we will discuss some important cell organelles only, like mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, lysosome, Golgi body and plastid. Endoplasmic reticulum is a network of tube-like structures. So these are the tubes, this is the network. And endoplasmic reticulums, they are of two types. One is called smooth endoplasmic reticulum, or SER, and another is called rough endoplasmic reticulum, or RER. So dot-like structures can be seen on rough endoplasmic reticulum, and these dots are ribosomes. Ribosomes are responsible for synthesis of protein. The main function of endoplasmic reticulum is transport of material. Moreover, this is also site of some biochemical process. Golgi body. Golgi body are sac-like structure. Sac means bags. and they are arranged one over another, the way gunny sacks are kept in warehouses one over another. Okay, so the whole structure is called Golgi body or Golgi complex. Golgi complex is connected with endoplasmic reticulum, and this is the site of packaging of material. So whatever material is transported through endoplasmic reticulum, say for example maybe glucose or fat, they come to Golgi body and there they are packaged. Lysosomes, they are small vesicles, they are filled with digestive enzymes. These are lysosomes, and the function of lysosome is to clean debris and foreign materials, and that is the job of digestive enzymes. Sometimes because of accident the lysosome may rupture, and in that case it can result in death of the cell, and that is why lysosome is also called the suicide bag of the cell. Mitochondria. Mitochondria are capsule like structure. It has double membrane, the outer membrane is porous and inner membrane is folded into numerous ingrowths or finger like structures. These structures, they are called cristae. Cristae is plural and crista is singular. Mitochondria is the site of cellular respiration. After cellular respiration, energy is stored in the form of ATP in the mitochondria. ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate, and this is the energy currency of cell. So whenever a cell requires energy, ATP is broken into ADP so that energy can be released. Mitochondria have their own DNA and ribosomes, which means mitochondria can make its own copy. It can replicate on its own. Okay. Now plastids. Plastids, they are found in plant cells only. There are two types of plastids. One is called chromoplast and another is called leucoplast. The colored plastids, they are called chromoplasts. So the colorful fruits or green color of leaves, they are because of chromoplasts. Chloroplast is an example of chromoplast. Leucoplasts are colorless plastids, and they are responsible for storage of food, for protein, glucose and fat. Vacuoles, these are storage sacs for solid or liquid contents. Vacuoles are quite large in plant cells and they are quite conspicuous. They can be clearly seen when seen through electron microscope, and in most of the cases vacuoles may take up around 70% space inside the cell. Vacuoles are usually absent in animal cells, or they are very small or in size. Okay, so now you have seen that different organelles, they serve different purposes. Okay, so some organelles are responsible for transportation, some are responsible for respiration, some are responsible for digestion. The way different organs in human body or in complex organisms, they are responsible for various functions. So this shows that a cell is capable of carrying out all the functions which are necessary for living beings, like nutrition, excretion, respiration, locomotion, etc., and even reproduction. Since at the unit level cell can carry out all the functions of life, so cell is capable of living independently, and that is why unicellular animals, they exist. And because of this, cell is called the functional unit of life. So earlier I have discussed that cell is called the structural unit of life. Now it is shown that it is called the functional unit of life. So if we put together these two aspects, then we can say that cell is the fundamental unit of life. That is what the title of this chapter is. Cell division. Cell division is required for growth, repair, for replacing worn out cells. Okay, and a new cell always comes from a pre-existing cell, and that happens through cell division. There are two types of cell division. One is called mitosis and another is called meiosis. Okay, so mitosis, it takes place in somatic cells, means the cells which are responsible for growth or normal cell, you can say in layman's language. Mitosis results in formation of two daughter cells from a mother cell, and daughter cells, they have same number of chromosomes as mother cell. So for example, here this is the mother cell and these are daughter cells. There are 4 chromosomes in mother cell. In daughter cells, you can see 4 chromosomes are there in each cell. Meiosis, it takes place during gametogenesis, that is during formation of gametes. Okay, so at the end of meiosis, one mother cell gives 4 daughter cells. So this is the mother cell and these are 4 daughter cells. These are 2 steps of meiosis. You will read about them in your higher classes. Okay, after meiosis, daughter cells have half the number of chromosomes as mother cell. So here mother cell, it is having 4 chromosomes and the daughter cell, each daughter cell has 2 chromosomes. Okay, that is the major difference. So let us recapitulate. I talked about the definition of cells, then I talked about the variety of size and shape in cells. After that I talked about structure of cell, then I talked about structure and function of important cell organelles, and at the end I talked about cell division. That's all for this lesson. Thank you.